Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. Our mission is to see a world well led. And our strategy to get there? To empower leaders like you to lead every day. So let's get to work.
I am so thankful for all the people who have invested in my life, who've helped me get better through the years. I wouldn't be where I am today were it not for so many people who have poured into me and helped me improve. I'm guessing you've got some of that same story, but one of the people on the podcast here asked the question, do I need a mentor? And if so, how do I find one? That's what we're talking about today. Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. I'm Randy Gravitt.
And I'm Mark Miller.
And Mark, we're talking about being a mentor. You've been a mentor to me in so many ways as well, and I'm so grateful for that. But I love this question coming from a young leader saying, do I need a mentor? And I know so many people, you have the same story I do. So many people have helped you as well. I think we both would say everybody needs a mentor. I would say that. I think there's a little bit of nuance that we want to get into today with that. But let's talk about this. And if we're saying that, how do we find one? We'll dive into that a little bit today. But give me a little.
Well, I think my opening
thought
shot,
on this.
My opening shot would be to pull up half a step. We all need other people to help us maximize our potential. We all need other people to help us learn and grow. We wrote about this as well, and I think it was in Smart Leadership, and we talked about the strategy of finding fresh eyes. We need people around us who can see things about us that we can't see, and they can help us lead at a whole new level. Mentors are one of those strategies, and I actually believe everybody should consider having mentors. I will say.
Well, I was going to say, let's get into the specifics.
Let's get into
how do we
specifics.
choose like mentors and how we think about specifically. Not just we're learning from all the people around us, but how do we get narrowed in here on this idea of like finding a mentor or mentors? I like what you said.
Define terms. I think a mentor to me is someone who's willing to enter into a personal relationship with you for the stated purpose of helping you learn and grow. Which is again a little more pointed than, hey, I'm learning from everybody I'm with.
I read a
every day.
book, and
that's
Abraham
great.
Lincoln's my mentor.
That's great. But
exactly.
And you could have a virtual mentor that you learn from somebody's books or learn from audio. But I'm talking about in a classic and traditional sense.
I need to get better.
There's a personal relationship, and someone agrees to help you do that.
And I like the idea of identifying the spot. Like that's on you. If you've got a gap area that you feel like you need somebody to. We'll talk about. We're gonna get into coaching a little bit as well. But this idea of somebody to really help me navigate this and my sage, somebody who can. They don't have to be. This doesn't have to be somebody that's 80 years old sitting on the front porch in a rocking chair and like this just needs some. In my mind, this needs to be somebody just a little ahead of me,
ahead of you.
They're ahead of me,
who's willing to help.
Who's willing to help, exactly.
But let's back up half a step. I've talked to a lot of people who don't have mentors about why they don't have mentors, and something I hear over and over and over is they couldn't find anyone. And I'd say, well, tell me more about that. And they said, well, I needed somebody to help me with my finances, my relationships, my tax planning, my physical fitness, and my communication skills at work. It's like, well, no wonder you couldn't find anybody.
My marriage,
right?
whatever,
Make a list. So I think it's really important as we seek out whoever this person might be, it's probably people, not person, and that you need to pick the focus area. If you want to become a better communicator, you can find a mentor who can help you with that. If you want somebody to help you with being a parent, then you can find somebody who can help you with that. So I think there's a don't ask them to do too much. And as you said, don't expect them to be the best in the world at it. They just need to be better than you. And willing to help.
And available. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the other question was, how do I find one? I like having two or three, let's just say finances is an area I want to have a mentor. I like putting that on paper, and then maybe a tactical thing you could do is like, who are the three people that might fit into that category? And because they may not all be available, but you start with that list. Who's available? Let's go down the list. Let's talk to them. I've got to be another thing I'd say. I got to be willing to meet on their schedule. Most of the time, people who are ahead of me in whatever area, they're pretty busy. These are not people just sitting around. They're looking for people to ask them to be their mentor. These are people who are busy. They got a lot going on. I want to make sure that I'm working on their schedule. And then the other thing I would say that I always remind leaders is this is not a Supreme Court appointment. This is not a lifetime mentorship. This could be something that, would you be willing to meet with me for 3 meetings? You know, can we have coffee 3 times?
I start with 1 meeting.
1 meeting's great. I'm just saying it could just turn into 3, and that's enough. I may need to move on to something because I may catch up to them, and I may need another mentor who's a little ahead of that. And so I just think how we think about this sometimes is maybe a little flawed. We think, oh, I've got it. This is my mentor, and it's got to be my mentor for the next 30 years. That's not necessarily what we're asking here.
Yeah, and there are thought leaders in this space who believe and have published that a mentoring relationship should be a lifetime commitment. And that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't take that off the table, but I would never start there. It might become that.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't aim too high. Don't look for somebody to cover too many topic areas, and don't ask for a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
Again, I like to say, hey, can I buy your lunch? Can I buy your dinner?
Yeah.
And
so let's go to that lunch and let's have that conversation. If we're going to the lunch, I know there's some things that we like to do when we go and meet with that person. Let's go prepared, right? We talked about preparation a couple of times. Let's go prepared. Like, what is it that you want to ask? I mean, are there 4 or 5 questions that you have that you think would that they could answer and help you gain clarity and progress, whatever? I always like asking, what are you reading? I mean, how do you handle your schedule? Some of the questions we've been asking, if you're lacking clarity on one of those questions, you know, it's an opportunity to ask some of that stuff. But if we go prepared, if we just go in there and sit down and expect
see what happens,
that's not a,
it's not good stewardship.
No,
at
it's
the
not.
time.
So we want to make sure.
I'll tell you another thing you can do. If we said a couple of times, they don't have to be famous and they don't have to be the best in the world. But if you are fortunate enough to spend time with someone who has a published point of view, it'd be really good for you to have read what they've written.
Yeah, that's good.
Because 1, it may inform your conversation. 2, you may not need to ask some questions that they've already answered, and you can spend that time on higher priority questions. Great. Or you read something and you want them to elaborate on it. You want them to go deeper. You want them to provide an example or illustration beyond what has been published.
I love that.
And it's honoring to them.
It is.
And they know you're trying to steward the time well.
Yeah.
So to me, I put that in that preparation bucket.
That's good. That's good. So we would say everybody needs a mentor. We think, but you need to pick the area that you need the mentor. And it may be multiple. I like what you said, Mark, mentors. You may have somebody that's helping you in one area that's going to be a different person that needs to help you. And you might be able to just read something and get it out of a book in a third area. You may not need a formal mentoring relationship. I hope you'll take some of the things we've talked about today and really begin to think, who can help me accelerate my progress, can get to a better place. It really is on us. You said it, Mark, a couple of weeks ago, for us to lead ourselves well. And one of the best things you can do to lead yourself well is to have somebody else who can speak into you and help you get where you're trying to go. I hope you'll give some thought to that and ask yourself. Tomorrow we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about a little side road here. Talk about the importance of having a coach. Can't wait to talk to you about that. It's one of the questions you guys have submitted. Hope you'll keep coming back. Keep sharing with your friends and family. Keep coming back here. Remember, the best leaders lead every day.